Hi. What I wanted to do today was show you how to add and edit items in the Blackboard sandbox area. So in your sandbox area, it's a separate course. Of course, you've already gotten here, so you know how this works. But the first thing you'll see is that you have instructor privileges. So you see pretty much the same thing that I'm presenting on the screen here now. Something you need to do immediately is make sure that your edit mode is switched to on. So now it should be switching. There we go. So this is with the edit mode on, you can see everything in the course. You'll notice on the left-hand side that you'll find a space with your name, and it's a blank space. So if we look in, say, Nathan's space right now, since we haven't even started yet, you'll see that it has his name up here, but nothing else. And I'm going to show you how to add things to this space. Each person, each member of the class has their own space to work in, but please let me remind you that you need to work in your space only, not in anyone else's. So let's look at a sample that I created down here. And I called it sample module because I'm thinking of each of these separate areas here as being modules. Now in Blackboard 9, the latest Blackboard, which is what we're using, you build content, they call it on the fly, so you don't have to go to the old-fashioned control panel. So from here we build content by selecting any number of things here. The most common thing to create is called an item. So we're going to start by creating an item. And creating an item is easy, and it's the thing that we do most often. So we're going to name this sample item. And I can change the color of the text for the title. So make it a dark green. And here is where I type text. So this is sample text for my sample item. It's not clever, but you get the idea. And here you can obviously edit. You can edit the HTML. You can edit the various pieces, adding bold or italics. You can add images. You can attach files. Pretty much everything you do in the discussion board you can do here. And another kind of helpful thing is you can also do markup validation, make sure that all the text is working correctly, and you can preview. So if I click preview, pull this down, you can see what it will look like to the end user. Okay, so now when I click submit, well, before I click submit, I'm sorry, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make sure that my options are set the way I want them to be. So my options include permit users to view this content, that's always yes, and track number of views, which I also set as yes, because then in the Blackboard control panel area, I can look and see statistically how many people have accessed this and when. And that's kind of helpful. Now, if I wanted to attach a file to this item, like a Word document or a PDF or an image, then I would use the attach file function here, browse my computer or browse the course. So now I'm going to click submit. And that's all there is to it. Now while the edit mode is on, you see everything in the course. When the edit mode is off, you see what the end user sees, what a student would see. Let's turn it back on. And that's pretty much everything you need to do. Now you can experiment with building content because you can always remove content later. So here, these little double arrows going down, if I click here, I have the choice of editing this, setting it to adaptive release, that is, it only releases to a student after they've completed something else. Looking at the statistics tracking, like I just mentioned before, user progress, I can copy the item, I can move the item, and I can delete the item. So these are all very helpful and immediate things you can do, and that's done with this double arrow piece right here. Now you can do the same thing with creating an assessment, adding an interactive tool. Now you can add the discussion board, blog, journal, wiki, groups, chat, and I encourage you to experiment with all of these. But keep in mind that, say, on the discussion board or the blog, it will come up as something that is a group effort because we're all instructors in this area. Assign a textbook. You can search for textbook or manually enter the textbook. This is brand new to Blackboard 9, and I have not tried this. And that is everything that you can add. Let's see, the adding items is what I do most often. I find that using mashups was not working well for me. I tried to use YouTube video when I was adding things like this piece. I find it doesn't work very well just yet, and so adding an item and then embedding the YouTube video within the item worked a lot better for me. But I encourage you to experiment and to discuss your experiments in our Tech Talk section of our class. And I think that's everything for now.